this is one heck of a week, right? We celebrate agriculture with every breath. We have so much to brag about, and that's maybe the theme for all of us, to get out of our comfort zone and quit being so dadgum Nebraska humble, and let's make sure we brag. In the first place, we got to brag. I just met the director of this institute of the research here. He's been here 14 months. It happens every single time. I said, what do you love the most about Nebraska? It's the people. Can't get it out fast enough. When I ask lifetime Nebraskans every time, we look down and go, kick the dirt. We take ourselves for granted. We got to stop this stuff and recognize how incredible Nebraskans are, because most important, these young people, that's why we're here. These young people need to know the grass is thickest, greenest, tallest here in Nebraska. The careers and the opportunities are incredible. But what we've got for you is nothing but great people. You can go anywhere in the world, you're not going to find the people. I've never met a human being in my life that doesn't want to be around great people. That's the start, number one. Number two, we live in the safest place in the world. And then number three, agriculture is our economy in the state. Everything that takes place in the state of Nebraska starts with agriculture. It has since March 1st, 1867, since the founding of our state. Everything is agriculture. And then I think the other two things I wanted to share, I have been saying for years and years, the one thing that's never going to change, right? We all want to eat 3 times a day. And if all of us can spread the message for people to be taking a minute to have an appreciation for all the hands, all the extraordinary minds that have an impact from germination and conception to get on our plate. From all over the world, every colored hand, every language, you talk about an inclusive industry of people to make it happen everywhere. Incredible. And then that's been our world forever. But since President Bush did the renewable fuels policy, now we're into another piece besides feeding the world. We're making things, starting with clean energy and clean fuel. And now, when you start thinking about the new bioeconomy, I wish I was you guys' age. Because agriculture, we haven't seen anything yet what's going to take place because of all of the things we're making from corn and soybeans. From biodiesel with soybeans to, I mean, it's hard to fathom that we're making lysine, an amino acid that helps us improve feed conversion from corn. We're making plastics from corn. We're making acetic acid, acetylacetone. We're making cosmetics. We're making surfactants. Soon we'll be making sustainable jet aviation fuel that has a 50 billion gallon market. All of those things do nothing but enhance the value and quality of what we do here in Nebraska. And then obviously what's been transformative is our pot of gold, the Oglala aquifer. Think about Nebraska, how we are the center of the world when it comes to water, right? Center of the world when it comes to water. We have 4 family companies that started center pivot irrigation back in the late 50s and early 60s. And oh, by the way, there's 4 companies that have 99% of the global market share, Nebraska companies that have had an incredible impact on making sure we can feed the world. Think about what's going on here. It's absolutely incredible. And because of that, in our pot of gold, the Oglala aquifer, we can raise more with less than anywhere else in the world. So our future is incredibly bright. And with that all takes place our university. Research, bringing technology to the forefront. I think most of us all in agriculture saying we are in the technology business, we just happen to farm. We just happen to raise pigs, we just happen to raise cattle. So it's so exciting because our future's our kids. And as your governor, it's about kids, taxes, agriculture, and values. We're going to stand up everywhere. And Mark, don't you worry, we are going to get 40% property tax relief done. We're not going to give up. And I think lastly, I think it's really important that all of us spend a little bit more time thinking about how we can build relationships with our neighbors. I think sometimes we tend to say, well, I know Joe, but honestly, we need to invest more energy in spending time knowing our neighbors better. And so that we can talk. God forbid we agree on everything, but if we know our neighbors and we build relationships, it's okay. We can have different opinions. It was silly, in the last month I met a lady, and we were obviously key for the bioeconomy, key for ethanol's carbon pipelines. The folks that want to start with fear of everything. There's no facts when people lead with fear. But she said, well, of course I'm for the carbon pipeline, but I have a neighbor with a really loud voice, and I can't talk to her about it. I said, seriously, you can't talk to your neighbor about something so important for rural Nebraska? Come on, we have to have better relationships to do that. So that's maybe the last message is, let's realize what extraordinary people we are, but let's spend more time building relationships so we can make Nebraska an extraordinary place for generations to come. Really, really a privilege for me to be out celebrating agriculture. Sherry and I were together everywhere yesterday, and as your governor, it's really cool to get to do proclamations. I made a proclamation, a spontaneous one, and that's a little dangerous, right, Mark? But it wasn't that bold and courageous. I was in Grand Island the other night, and the other governor, Jordan Larson, was there. So I brought Jordan up and I said, as a governor, I can make proclamations. Jordan Larson, the greatest athlete in the history of the state of Nebraska. I don't think anybody would disagree. So let me read a couple lines here. Whereas leading manufacturers and business and agriculture call Nebraska home and continue to expand and invest here. And whereas Nebraska farmers and ranchers are committed to being stewards of the land and implementing conservation practices that preserve our precious natural resources. And whereas Nebraska supports the next generation of people by working in agriculture, by teaching youth about agriculture, incredible career opportunities and leadership opportunities in the ag industry. And whereas Nebraskans would like to extend their appreciation to all who have shown dedication and perseverance in growing our state through agriculture. Now therefore it be, I, Jim Pillen, Governor of the incredible state of Nebraska, do hereby proclaim the week of March 17 to 23, 2024 as Agricultural Week in Nebraska, and I do hereby urge all citizens to take due notice. Congratulations, everybody in agriculture. We got to give a big